Hi, everybody. Miss Winter and I are here again. We are going to talk about what we did in math today. Today, we reviewed rounding. So, Miss Winter and I are going to take some time and we're going to look at an anchor chart as well as some extra work. And we also have a guest with us on today. Say hi, Ken.
Hi.
Perfect. So, the first thing we talked about is we talked about just our basic rounding. Step one, we're going to find your number. What this means is we're going to look for what we need to round to. So, for instance, in our example that's given to us, we're rounding to the tens, and we have 12. So we're going to underline what we are rounding to.
Yes, Mr. Kiefer, can we ask Kennedy? She can help us out here.
Yes,
Kennedy,
sure.
the number is in the tens place.
A 1.
The 1 is in the tens place. Good job, Kennedy.
Great job, Ken. On step two, we're going to look next door. So since Kennedy told us there's a 1 in the tens place, we're going to go next door to see what we're going to do next.
The 2 is in the ones place.
You're absolutely correct. Step three, we're going to ask ourselves, is there number 5 or greater? And if it is, we're going to add one more. And step four, if it's 4 or less, we're going to let it rest down to 0.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to go over some of the notes that we took in class. So as you see, I wrote down a little jingle that our class used today, and it was 5 or more, let it soar with our arrow up to 10, or 4 or less, let it rest. So if I have the number 37 and I was rounding to the tens place,
Mm-hmm.
I would look to see what number is in my tens place. Hey,
Mr.
Kennedy, can you tell me what number's in our tens place?
Yes, Mr. Kiefer, is there some kinds of labels that we could put on top of our numbers?
You're absolutely right. We can actually label our place value as well
Okay.
if we needed to do that. So we have our ones, our tens,
Oh,
and our hundreds.
and our hundreds. Okay.
Kennedy, can you tell me what's in our tens place?
3.
3. So we're going to circle our 3 because that is what we're rounding to. And then we're going to look to our neighbor. And our neighbor here would be 7. Now we need to ask ourselves, does 7 go up to 10 or would 7 go down to 0? And a couple different things we did to help us with this is we looked at just a basic number line from 0 to 10. And of course, 5 is our middle. So we're going to label our number line. And 6, 7, 8, 9. And we looked at our number line and we said, okay, where is 7 on just a basic number line? And we see that 7's right here. So because 7 is closer to 10, we know that in 37, the 7's going to round up. So when 7 rounds up, the 7 becomes a 0, and we're going to add 1 to the 3. And that gets us to 4. On our next practice problem, Miss Winter is going to show you a really cool example of what she does with her kids. So let's say we have the number 45. We're still rounding to our tens, so real quick. Kennedy, what number's in our tens place?
A 4.
You are absolutely correct. So we're going to circle that number, and then we're going to look next door. Miss Winter, can you tell us about your strategy that you used?
Awesome. So this is called the balloon method. It's very easy and useful because you already have your material in your hand, which will be your pencil or your pen. So you put that in your hand. You look at the number in the ones place, and you're going to remove one finger for each number you count. So for example, our number is 45. We're going to be looking at the 5. I'm going to need to remove all 5 fingers. If my pencil flies up into if it floats down to the ground, then that means that my balloon is up in the air and it's gone and it will need to go up to the next level. If it's still in my hand, that balloon is held down to the ground and it means that it needs to stay where it's at, which is like let it rest. Okay, so I'm going to count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. My balloon would then go up in the air and fly up high. If this was a balloon string, it would have gone up and it would have gone away. That tells my brain, oh, it needs to go up to the next 10.
So we're going to circle, we go up. So 5 becomes a 0, and we're going to add 1 to our 4, and we're going to get 5. Now, you may be thinking, well, what happens if the number's not going to round? Well, a little example we use would be, what about 23?
Oh,
Again, we're still rounding to our 10s.
mhm.
So we're going to label everything 1 and 10.
3.
We're going to circle our 2. Look next door. Miss Winter, can you show us again one more time what that would look like?
1, 2, 3. I can still hold on to it no matter which 3 fingers I take off. I can still hold on to it. It would stay where it's at that next 10, at the bottom 10.
So when we are rounding, we see, oh, that would go down. So the 3 would become a 0, and the 2 would stay the same. Notice every time we round, our neighbor is always going to 0.
Mm.
And then lastly, we talked about, well, what would it look like if we were rounding to the hundreds place? And it's pretty much the exact same thing. If we had 647 and we wanted to round to the hundreds, well, we're going to label our number, ones, tens, hundreds. We're going to circle our hundreds place, and we're going to look next door. Kennedy, will you help us out? Would 4 go up to 10, or would 4 go down to 0?
4 would go down to 0.
You're absolutely correct. So 4 would go to 0, 6 stays the same, and what about that 7?
Ooh, what happens to the 7, Kennedy?
The 7 goes to the 10s.
That's close. Well, that 7, is that 7 going to be a 0? Or is it good? What's it going to be? Is it going to be 607? We're rounding to the nearest 100.
It's gonna be a 0.
Yeah.
You are very correct. It would become a 600.
Mm-hmm.
And if you looked at one more problem, let's say I have the number 4,000. I'm sorry.
Can we see that on a number line, that 647?
Oh, yes, of course.
So we can see what a number line in the hundreds would look like.
So it would start off with 600. Then you would have 650. And then you would have 700 out to the side. The reason why this is 600, this is 700, is because we were rounding to our hundreds place.
Oh, perfect. And then how do I get to those? How come it's not like 800 and 900, or how come it's not 500 and 400?
It's 600 and 700, because if you were to skid count by your hundreds, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, you should know that 647 would fall between the 600 and 700 span. Yeah, digits.
Awesome.
Now we're going to label. And because we have a 50 here, I know I can label this by tens. So this would be 610, 620, 630, 640, 660, 670, 680, and then 690. So where would 647 be? Well, it would be about between 640 and 650. And because it's not at 650 yet, it's not at that 5, it's going to go back to 600.
Yes, wonderful. I love it. Excellent.
All right. If you would like some extra work for your kiddo, you're more than welcome to look at this page right here. You're more than welcome to take a screenshot.
Mr. Kiefer, we're not able to see that one. If you could unshare your screen.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Problems.
I forgot I was on the wrong computer.
No worries.
So,
Oh,
if you
yeah.
want to do some extra work with your kiddos, you're more than welcome to look at these 7 problems and do it with them. We're all rounding to the tens and all of our numbers right here, and there are going to be some number lines you're more than welcome to do as well. All right, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. We absolutely love seeing your kiddos, and we look forward to seeing them tomorrow. All right, bye.